How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? 3, 2, 1, go fast. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
Woodchuck. I have a friend that used to say woodchuck at the end.
Oh, wow.
Like woodchuck. Like Woody.
Oh.
Yeah. And he said I was saying it wrong.
Do you know this one? Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't fuzzy. Was he?
It's been a while. You don't know about Under the Cherry Tree, do you?
No.
We used to go...
Pocket Party.
And we're back. Hey, everybody. It's your host, Darren Carter, the party starter. Thanks for letting us start that party in your ear holes. To my right, I have the one and only John DiResta.
Thank you.
That's right. Former NYPD cop. He worked transit. He worked NYPD. He got his own sitcom. He's been in movies. If you've watched the show before.
I'm OG.
He's OG. Go back.
I'm addicted to heavy metal.
He's addicted to heavy metal.
I listen to 50 metal songs a day. Did you know that?
No,
50
I didn't know
a day.
that. I wore this Metallica T-shirt,
Master.
I love Jim Brewer's impression.
Where's the hack? Hold on, here we go. Yeah. Where's the hack that I've been after? Master.
I'm a hackster.
Hackster.
Master of Hackett. We're always trying to do like a hack parody of thing. Just sit right back and you watch these hacks.
No, guess which one I thought of?
Yeah.
We're hacky, hacky just like you.
Cause we're hacky. Cause we're hacky. Oh gosh.
Listen, I got a phone call this week. This is a true story. And I spoke to a guy who I met at the thrift store. Remember the comedy? I met a guy there, and he's a metal fan, and he's a comedy fan, and he's a woodworker. His name's Carlos. I think he listens to this, so a big shout out, Carlos.
Hola.
Really good guy. Total metal fan. Total. Was in a metal band. Was a roadie for metal bands.
Yeah,
and he was a really fantastic woodworker. And at the very end of a phone call, we spoke for about 10 minutes, and we met on all these different levels. And he knows my brother Jimmy from all the videos. You know what I mean? It's like a big round robin of kismet. And at the very end of the phone call, he just out of nowhere went. Don't worry, be hacky. And I busted out laughing.
Don't worry, be hacky.
And in my mind, since we're always trying to be funny, I said, he doesn't know the Partridge Family. Like, it wasn't enough for me. It wasn't enough. It was funny.
Because we did that on a previous episode.
If he would have done the Partridge Family, I would have been, he really listens.
Like, damn. You know what I mean? Episode 250, guys. Go back and listen to episode 250. You'll hear
it. It was really, it was... Yeah.
Come on, get hacky.
Yeah, right.
Hello, world, there's a joke that we're telling.
Come on, get hacky.
And then you did the, it all started with Bobby McFerrin, Don't Worry, Be Hacky. Woo! Don't worry, be hacky.
Don't worry, be hacky. Here's a little joke I wrote. You might have heard it note for note. Don't worry. Be hacky. That's funny. Street jokes.
Damn, dude.
Street jokes.
What's sad is sometimes street jokes can be funnier than the actual material.
Well, dude, I got to admit, I'm not getting any younger, so I throw in a street joke, but if you put it in another character's, you get away with it. And I think I sell it like, after it, I'll say, I wrote that joke. You know what I mean? To let them know it's a street joke.
Yeah.
Or I do one or two jokes that if this is a really funny tag, I go, as they're laughing, and most don't know it's a street joke, but those that do know it is. Like, the comedians are going to call you out for it.
Yeah.
And I just go, I got that joke in second grade from Adam Gilman. And some of them, it's true.
Yeah.
You know, like Dr. Cut Your Cock Off.
Yeah.
Like in second grade, we were doing that joke.
You know, I don't think it's funny, like, especially on podcasts. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And I actually am entertained by it. There's I would listen to Gilbert Gottfried's podcast. And lately I've been listening to Mark Schiff. You know, he opens for Seinfeld. And he was interviewing Tom Dreesen. And by the way, if you like Tom Dreesen, he opened for Frank Sinatra for 14 years. He did 61 Tonight Show appearances. And yes, he has done the Pocket Party podcast. He's fantastic. He's a great guest. And then they would throw jokes back and forth, like if something came up on that topic,
Well, on
about
that
alcohol
note,
or funerals.
Watch this. On that note, And I don't know whether I read this in a book or I saw it on like a really inside the comedians. Oh, you know what it was? It was a comedian. Oh, you know what it was? I'm pretty sure it was. There's a famous director that does all this hip stuff like Curb Your Enthusiasm. Larry Charles.
Yeah, Larry
He's
Charles.
from Coney Island, Brooklyn. And I did a pilot with him, I'm pretty sure, some Irish sitcom. So we got a tiny bit friendly because I was a cop in Coney Island. So he knew there was street cred there. But I'm pretty sure one of his first jobs in Hollywood was he drove like a famous comedian. But this is a long, like in the 70s, let's say, late 70s.
Yeah.
And when they all met at the club, they didn't have notebooks out and go over their next hour, like the
like they do now,
like the sea bags that do now.
Yeah.
I'm working on my hour. They're 19 years old.
Yeah.
He said all they did from like say they all met from noon to 4 every day, and it's like Jack Benny. You know what I mean? It's like the 5 greatest comedians that ever lived.
Alan King, Jack Benny,
George
Milton
Burns.
Berle. Yeah.
And he said all they did every day was kick around old jokes with pride.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of, with the notebook out. What do you think of this one?
Right.
I mean, I'm just spitballing.
Dude, I read a joke the other day and I thought it was funny. This is this would be a quote, a street joke.
I'm
spitballing an idea. I'm spitballing. Check this out. You know where I got a joke the other day? I read it in the YouTube comment section. Right? I'm watching this music video from the 80s, and then somebody left this hilarious comment in the comment section. They said when they go, I was at a dance when the DJ played Twist, I did the twist. When the DJ played Jump, I jumped. When the DJ played Come On, Eileen,
Ew.
security kicked me out.
Ew. That's a moisture
funny,
joke.
Right? That's funny.
It's like it's a twist on words.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's dirty.
Yeah.
That's okay.
No, it's funny. Come on, Eileen. Oh, I swear I'll I leave. Come on, Eileen. Come on.
Yeah.
You're not going to join in?
Not on that one.
Hey, what's have you ever heard that?
You know what song I like?
Yeah.
This is a really weird. The first benefit I ever did for a New York City cop that was killed. I was already now as a comedian. I started to get a tiny bit of fame. Oh, this guy got a TV deal, but I'm still a cop. But my name is in the newspaper. And me and John Mulrooney and maybe one other guy went up to the Bronx, and it was for a cop who was killed in the line of duty to raise money for like his kids for the future. And I mean, obviously some time must have went by. And I remember wearing these funky, because I did get some TV money and I bought like these cool jeans. And I remember everybody knew I was peacocking my new jeans. Like it was obvious.
Yeah.
They had like a French pocket.
Whatever was popular at the time.
Sassoon.
Yeah, Sassoon. Yeah. Had the zipper going down the crotch.
And when I'm pretty sure Mulrooney hosted it, and when he said thank you, good night, they played I Get Knocked Down, But I Get Up Again. And so I can never listen to that song without thinking, wow, we did something nice tonight. And that could have been me. That cop could have been me at any given moment.
Yeah.
That when they name a street after you in your precinct because you were killed, I used to say all the time, I don't want that honor.
Yeah.
And this might have been one of the worst gigs I ever did. Guy begged me, can you do a thing for the widows and orphans? Come on, for comedy.
Yeah.
In the middle of a day, like on Saturday at 1 p.m, I had said yes like 6 months before. And I'm already thinking it's going to be rough to be in front of a couple hundred women who are all there for the same reason. You know what I mean? They're in a club this is what I'm getting at. I never wanted my wife to have to be in that club.
Right.
And I had to leave a barbecue. Somehow, some way, I forgot about it. And I had people at my house. I had to get in a car, drive to Brooklyn from Long Island. And dude, it was like 9 women in like a waiting room with their kids. Like sitting in folding chairs. And now I had to do stand-up. And I do a joke that I sleep so much on job time because I work 9 to 6 in the morning. They call me Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's. That's one. I couldn't get a partner. They called it babysitting. I'd literally sleep in the front seat of the police car, and my head would lay in the seatbelt, cradled like this.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. There's nothing better than sleeping on job time as a civil servant in an air-conditioned vehicle. It all comes together.
Yeah.
At a dead end, down.
You wake up, I just made money.
Yeah. It's like
So how'd that gig go?
It's a triple fuck.
Yeah. And how'd the gig go? With the family and the moms and the kids. And
So that's what I'm getting at. I used to do a joke that I slept so much. So here's the rhythm of the joke. They call me Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's. Nobody wants to babysit. And the third one was when I get up out of a dead sleep to go to a police call, which happens once or twice a week, or if not a night. I'm still groggy as I'm like, I'm like still shaking it off while the shit is going down.
Yeah.
So they called me Dead Man Walking. They said I resembled someone that was walking to the electric chair, like I had lost all my energy.
And how'd that go?
So what I'm getting at is, as I realized that I say Dead Man Walking.
Yeah.
As it's coming out of my mouth, so I sucked it back down, and then they were like, "What's the
punchline?
What did he just say?" Yeah. Dude, it was horrible.
Oh, you didn't even say the word.
I didn't even. I was like,
as I walked there, I'm like, walking. Anyways, hey, what else is going on?
Yeah.
It's so weird. Yeah.
Who doesn't have a husband? Who's single?
I don't know why this reminded me of this. And one of my first gigs, I totally forgot about this. When you said like an awkward, this is not that awkward, but it was an awkward kind of vibe. One of my first comedy gigs. This is pre-microphone. I didn't even use a microphone for this gig.
Yes, I don't think I did for you.
You know what I mean?
You're right.
It was a guy that used to manage a Burger King in a small town near Fresno. That's where I went to school. He was in my community college class. And he's like, "Yeah, man, you should come by and we have a meeting at 10 a.m. You should do like some comedy for us." And I'm like, "Let's do it," because I was excited to do it. I actually remember going to the farmer's market to pick up the produce, going down there in this little Toyota truck. And dude, I hid in the walk-in. Not the freezer, but just the refrigerator part.
Right.
He did the little meeting, and then he opened up the door like it's the green room or whatever. And he's like, "We have a special guest, Darren Carter."
Oh, that's funny.
Dude, and I came out there, I was all cold, and I did 10 minutes or whatever. And did my little thing, and then that was it. It was kind of weird, and then he drove me back.
Did they laugh?
I remember the first half being the weird part, like waiting and all that fun stuff. And
okay.
I think they laughed. I don't really remember. I'm sure they laughed. I was pretty funny. And especially back then, I had that. Remember, I opened for the New Kids on the Block, and I'd only been doing comedy for 3 months. So I had that little shtick that would work. The cartoons rapping Kermit the Frog and all that shit blows me down. All that. My name is Bullwinkle. I'm a moose. Give me the mic.
Come on, get hacky.
Hello world. There's
the
a
voices
joke that
I am doing.
I'm 18. Exactly. When you're 18, you're like, yeah.
Here comes Elmer Fudd as De Niro.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Here comes Elmer Fudd as De Niro.
I could do that. Let's see. How would that would be? Yeah, you're talking to me. You're talking to me. You're looking at me.
There
wow.
you go. Yeah. You know who you sound like? John Pernici. You know him?
Oh, God. Shout out to another famous Italian comedian.
Yeah, we did. Hey, dude, I want to thank him. If he listens, he does some gig called The Red Lion, and it's a gig. While you're doing your thing, the people from the restaurant upstairs have to come down a stairway, and they have to walk right in front of the comedian. No stage. So you're eye level. And the 2 or 3 comedians that I've worked with each night, they might acknowledge, but they just try and stay with their stand-up shtick and like almost talk through the people.
Yeah.
And instead, I just spoke to it's crowd work. I spoke to every single last person, and I would I would give them a punchline that meant nothing to them, but the whole crowd knew it. Now it was like the fifth. I would do like the same punchline like to every person that walked by. So now it became this dumb inside joke, and this person was the what? Outsider.
Yeah.
It was really strange, dude. And at one point, there was, because this restaurant is small, so when 15, 20 people walk past me, and it's 10:30 at night, you're done.
Right.
And a good 5 minutes goes by, and then all of a sudden, like 3 dozen people. And they're all cluttered up and smiling, know they're going to get zung as they cross by. Like they're putting their helmet on. It's funny. It's like and they have to walk past.
That's awesome.
And and so much so did I use it. I said that this restaurant stairway looks like a midget clown car. Come on, get hacky.
Hello world, there's some hacky jokes I'm telling.
Come on,
I wanted to ask you this. So on the news, I saw this video that's been going around. This female officer, she pulls over this car, looks like in a country area. Next thing you know, the guy's wrestling with her, and then people are stopping along the highway, and they're like, "What the?" And then they start jumping in to help her, and then they're pinning the guy down.
I like that.
And then, so I was just looking up the physical fitness levels that you have to be, and it's from what I Googled, from what I saw, it looks like it's a little tougher to be an LAPD cop than an NYPD cop. From what I Googled, what I saw, I don't know what it was like when you did it, but I Googled, how many push-ups do you have to do to be an NYPD cop? And it had males have to do 30 push-ups. Females have to do 18. And my guess was that it was going to be like 50 and 40 or something.
Okay.
I
went to the NYPD Academy. I started July 15th, 1986, and I graduated with 2,900 men. December 18th in Madison Square Garden as they played New York, New York by Frank Sinatra. Wow. It's pretty intense. So the amount, and I went through with, again, 2,900 guys, the biggest academy class in the history of the human race.
Wow.
Thank you. And a street cred. Zing, bonk.
Do you ever check lately to see like how many?
Oh no, it's way smaller now.
Oh,
now it's all like 300, 1,200.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Why is it people don't
just during the 80s, like there was some kind of you get 20 years and you're out.
Yeah. So now people don't want to be cops now.
No.
Yeah.
Well, let me go back then.
Yeah.
20 years and you're out.
Yeah.
So somehow, some way, in like 1960, they hired like 15,000 guys, like a lot. So now it was 1980.
Yeah.
And every one of them had their 20 years. So they, you know what I'm saying? There was like a big chunk that went out. So they had to fill that chunk. So, and then guys were laid off in the very late 70s. Like hundreds of guys were just sent home.
Wow.
Because they couldn't pay them.
Wow.
So now somehow they got money. They got a new governor. And so to replenish every 6 months was 2,300, 2,900, 1,700. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there was 53 guys in my class.
That's a lot of cops.
And so they push everybody through, dude.
Yeah.
They push everybody through. Everybody. This is in 1986 in the New York City Police Academy comes to push-ups. Men had to do 0. I've never even heard it brought up in the last 40 years, except from you.
Wow.
For real. No one's ever even brought up the concept.
Wow.
That's not like they said you don't have to do them. I swear to God, no one's I never even heard of that.
Wow.
And women, less than 0, because women can't pass anything.
Because
they pushed everybody through because they needed the bodies at the other end of the 6 months. They had big fatzos. It was, and all you needed was a high school equivalency and a driver's license. So 50% of us were borderline, Neanderthal, Long Island, Brooklyn maggots that just did drugs and stole shit.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like we used to break windows. Every Friday and Saturday, we used to break windows.
Before you were cops.
Before I was a cop.
Yeah,
I'm saying I was a dirtbag, and there's guys that were 50 times worse. There were guys that were arrested.
Wow.
But they had no felony convictions.
Wow.
There was guys that were like working on getting their driver's license while they were in the police academy. Like by the time they graduated, they had to have a license.
They were hoping it would all work out, and they. Yeah, it was.
But you had to run 2 miles within like a certain time.
Yeah, I saw that.
You had to do that. And out of the 52 guys in our class, I remember bench pressing the second most out of 52 men.
Wow.
49 men and 10 women or whatever it was.
Bench pressing. It's so dumb.
And Joe Iaquinto came in first.
Yeah.
Joe Iaquinto came in first. I'm pretty sure I came in second. Everybody was like, oh, this guy's more than just a schmuck. Because I was also funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'll tell you what happened in the police academy.
How much could you bench press?
It was like on one of those machines.
Oh, not even the real bench
No, it wasn't.
press.
It wasn't a bar.
The Smith machine,
it was like
or whatever.
it was one of those eclipticals or whatever they were back then.
Yeah, the Nautilus.
Nautilus. Yeah, and it had
with the little pin that you stick in.
It had the handlebars from a Mayans.
Yeah, that's not even real. It's like,
you know what I mean? You put the plate.
Yep.
Had the 10 pounds of plate.
Yeah.
So I think I did like 220 or 240, and Joe Iaquinto did like 275.
The reason I'm laughing is because it's. Are you gonna remember what you're gonna say?
No, I was also in the Fat Squad.
Hold that thought, because I was gonna say now I feel like with how jiu-jitsu became popular. I feel like they should be doing jiu-jitsu training as opposed to how much can you bench press, because that way they could maybe. You know what I mean?
That was just for a test. We did do this kind of physical stuff. This is how you throw somebody down.
Like
we
if
did
you had
that,
to get into a
and we
tussle,
did more of that because then I went to the Transit Police Academy.
I feel like the criminals are doing all this crap. They're training. They're doing.
Well, the next after we all graduated in Madison Square Garden, all the transit guys, 308 of us, had to go to a Transit Police Academy for 6 weeks, and they taught us that stuff on how to throw people to the ground and how to grab. But everyone just played along, like you know what I mean. Like I remember people going,
Oh, the cops did.
you know what I mean? Like everybody, so you passed. You know what I mean? He knows how to flip them.
Yeah.
And watch this. This is a true story. You had to dive into the pool in the police academy. You'd no swimming. One day you had to dive to the bottom and get a 5-pound weight and just bring it back up. For some reason, that was your water training.
Yeah.
And some people of a certain ethnic background were very afraid of water.
Oh, for sure.
And it was crazy to see them.
Yeah.
People were shaking in their boots.
Wow.
And that's nothing. A guy named Mandrakia. I'm changing his name for the sake of the show.
Yeah.
Mandrakia wore a hairpiece, and I think I was the only one that noticed that it was that good.
Yeah.
He must have, but he had no eyebrows and all that. You know that weird looking. You know what I'm saying?
How's my hairpiece looking these days?
That
Yeah, it's looking good, right?
don't look like this. Look at this, dude. I can catch bugs with this.
I ain't catching nothing with mine.
That's a funny statement. I can look at it.
Yeah.
And I haven't combed it. It got like wet today.
Oh, wow.
So no, you know what? It looks like Dean Martin. See the curls?
Yeah. It's getting higher.
It's
Turning into Bob's Big Boy. I like it.
Okay.
Go for the pompadour. Okay.
So
the guy had a hairpiece and he.
so he had to dive in and get his 5-pound weight.
Yeah.
He went to the bottom and his hair stayed on the surface.
Wow. And
everybody was standing. You know, it was like Rambo where we're all standing around the pool. Was it Rambo? No.
Cocoon.
No. What was the one? The one with the tattoo on my arm. He was a sailor. He's handsome.
Popeye?
No. Richard Gere. Officer and a Gentleman.
Yeah.
Everyone was standing around the pool like that. He goes down, his hair stays on the top. His hand comes up and grabs it. Now it looks like the cover of a Rainbow album in the 70s with Ronnie James Dio.
Yeah.
Rainbow Rising.
Yeah.
And he grabs the hair. He must have put it on, and he comes up, and it's backwards, curled to the side, and all clumped. Oh, dude, I felt so bad, and he had to spend the rest of the day with it, like, you know.
Ooh. He didn't like go like this, like start wringing it out.
Dude, his hand came up. Wow. He brought it down, and then he did the manipulation, as we'd say, under the water. But if you couldn't run the 2 miles within this time, they gave you 50 tries, and then they okay.
When you jumped in the pool, did you guys?
There was a lot of this. Look,
just hurry up, let's go.
Yeah.
Come on, you got it. Yeah. Did you? When you jumped in the pool, did you have to have your uniform on?
No, not at all. It's a good question. I remember something about a bathing suit because I don't like. At the time, I'm a rankaholic. I make fun of everyone, but so when I have to take my shirt off and I have stretch marks and man tits, I got a fupa. I got to fat up a penis area.
Yeah, you didn't want to be like...
And because they use it against you, right? Yeah. Look at you. You're a wise guy. Now look at you. And dude, in the shower, I had 2 inches soft. People to this day remember how small my penis was. Everybody remembers.
I remember going to the dry cleaners and I was getting my... Hey, thank you. Thanks to you, I got a couple of shirts tailored, you know?
Nice.
And I'd never had done that before, so I actually was a little nervous because I didn't know if I had to take off my shirt in front of everybody and have them measure. I didn't know what was going to happen.
Oh, yeah. No, they measure it while it's on.
And I but here's the thing. I didn't want to wear it there, you know? And so... I didn't realize they had a little dressing room.
Right. Okay.
Because it's a very small dry cleaner. And the guy...
Yeah, they do the curtain.
Yeah. Yep, a curtain. I thought I was going to be in front of everybody with my shirt off and like... which is weird. I don't mind with my shirt off by the pool, but it's just in a weird business. Like, it's so weird, you know?
So watch this. I was also in the fat squad. I weighed 205. This morning I weighed 188, and it's 36 years later.
That's good.
So I weighed 188 today, but in the police academy in 1980, what would I say, 86? Summer into the fall of 86, I weighed 205, and that put me in the fat squad. So to get you to lose weight, they weigh you in only your underwears in front of everyone on a big metal scale, like you're a fish that they caught, like a scale from 1915 from a Charlie Chaplin movie that goes, And I weighed 205. So for like me and like 7, there was 300 people in our gym class, and like 7 of us were in the fat squad. And this is a true story. Who's got? I always say Forrest Gump's got nothing on me.
Yeah.
How many people I know I've interacted? I know Rudolph Giuliani.
Yeah.
Right. He did commercials for my sitcom. Bernie Kerik was the police commissioner on 9/11, and he wound up being a Trumpster and stuff. I don't know if you know Bernie Kerik, he was the police commissioner, and he was the real deal. He wasn't like put there for political reasons.
Yeah.
He was put there because he was a badass mofo that worked his way up. And he was in my gym class. So I was in gym class with the one police commissioner, and then only about 5 years ago, they made the police commissioner a transit cop that I worked with, who worked his way up.
Wow.
So I'm like dog shit, dude. I'm everywhere.
Is it weird to see people that you used to work with back then? Now you're like, you guys have your own lives, but they're still doing it?
Almost all of them are out by now, because for me, it's 36 years.
Yeah.
Like, if you stay that long, it's really long.
Wow.
No, but what I am, I don't want to use the word jealous, but a lot of them did their 20, 25 years. They get paid every month, and there's a lot of jet skis and a lot of Harley Davidsons and a lot of sunburns and fishing rods on Facebook. I mean, they're some of these guys, it's their job to eat clams on the half shell, get drunk, get sunburned, and take a photo of it.
And tag you.
And then ride jet skis. And they all live in these like really nice houses in Florida, and their taxes are like $700 a year.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And they all have a built-in pool. It's a funny concept. It really is.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But I think the comedians have that lifestyle. You know what I mean? You get to travel, you get paid to travel and be funny and tell your stories and
all
that good stuff, you know.
However, there's a steady paycheck with the other one.
I was thinking about this. I heard, I know, right? I heard.
But watch this. I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
Jimmy Schubert one night.
Yeah.
We went to the Borgata. You do 7 shows, right? 1 a night, and it's 3 headliners. And I forgot to tell you this earlier. It's always 3 people that all want to headline this big club.
Yeah.
Or middle.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to open, and no one knows till the first show Monday night. The guy sticks his head in and just goes, "All right, guys, it's 5-2. For the rest of the week, it's DiResta, Vic DiPotato, Joey Cola," and he runs.
He just makes it up.
He runs it. Well, you know, like it's his feeling.
Yeah.
And
it's gonna be you, and you.
Yeah.
That's the order. Goodbye.
That's it, and runs away.
And you're like,
but so watch this. On a Friday and Saturday night, the room would go to Dice or to Van Halen or to Black Sabbath. It was a 1,000-seat theater, and you got the night off, and you still got paid. So you'd go see Dice, you'd go see Van Halen because you're the comedian that would have been there. But instead, Kevin Brennan, you know him?
He's hilarious. Yeah.
Misery Loves Company, Burning Bridges.
He's great. He's funny. Shout out to Kev. I did his podcast, by the way.
So did I. Yeah. He calls the comedy club, and he gets on the phone with me and Jimmy Schubert and says, "You guys want to do a gig that Friday and Saturday in this small town in New Jersey that I live in, and I'll give you like $200 a night." So these 2 nights that we would have been off, now we're making another $200. People love to see us because they know at the Borgata they would have paid $50.
Yeah.
Instead, they're paying $5. And after the first show Friday night, we were important. You know, like we hung out with the people, and you know what I mean? And they were all like our age, and like even the married couples, they let their hair down. You know, now the wives are like, "I saw you in Miss Congeniality. Was that really you?"
Yeah. By the way, real quick on that story, I saw Congeniality on the airplane.
How was it?
I've never seen the movie before, and I'm not really big into movies, and I was a little bit tired, but I go, he's in this movie. And the cool thing is I believe you're in the first 10 minutes.
That might have been 2. I'm in the first 10 minutes of part 2.
There's like a shootout or something.
Yeah.
I saw it, and I'm like, there he is. That's enough. And then I hit off.
There you go.
But I just, I didn't have earphones on, so I could only visually look at it.
So, back to my story.
Yes.
We were quasi important. You know, people made like we were a big deal. And I looked over at Jimmy Schubert, and this is a really funny comedy story, I think. And I really like that guy a lot. And he had this big shit-eating smile, and he just goes, "Stand-up comedy. The only place on earth where you could live like a millionaire." and 60 grand a year. And he was right.
Schubert said that?
Schubert said that. Yeah, and he was right.
Yeah.
He was right. Yeah, we get to travel to fun places people think are important. They don't know we're picking garbage.
Hey, I was going to ask you on two things. Remind me, I want to talk tables because you sold the normal.
I sold my dining room table like a white trash animal.
I want to ask about that because you make these tables, you sell them, blah, blah, blah. But first, I want to ask you, you weigh 205 and you're in the fat squad. What's the heaviest you've ever been?
Oh, that's a good question. Probably, I just looked at a notebook the other day and it said 253 and a half, must lose weight. But so I would have to say, probably around 255, maybe 260, which I don't remember.
Because when you were so heavy, you probably didn't want to weigh yourself. You just knew.
But I did see in a notebook the other day, 253 and a half, must lose weight.
Yeah.
But How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days is really bad. I'm fat. Miss Congeniality 2, I'm fat. But here's where I'm really fat, and it's a very funny concept. The worst picture of me ever taken in the history of the human race is my IMDb photo. I must weigh 260, and I'm in the middle of a scene in a movie, and I'm hunched up pointing to someone like, go that way.
Yeah.
And
So
I don't even have 3 chins. I have like a movie theater of fat.
Wow. Because somebody said you look so different that listens to the podcast.
Hear me out.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to change it. It's on IMDb. It's for the last 20 years, my daughters are saying, and people saying, that's why you don't work in Hollywood. They think that's what you look like.
Yeah,
But now, look at how I twisted it. I leave it. And now when I tell the audience I've lost 80 pounds and everyone goes, oh, come on, that's just a shtick. Or you could feel it from them. Or if you saw me in Miss Congeniality, you'll remember me. I go, you guys I said the other day, you guys have those phones where you could see the photos on it? You know, like in some back town, like you're making fun of them. They don't have an iPhone.
Yeah.
That gets a laugh. And guess what I say? Go to IMDb. And then all of a sudden, you talk about a real moment that they think is impromptu.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Wait a minute. There he is. Now they're downloading photos of Miss Congeniality.
Yeah.
And it's this weird approval. Oh, he did have a sitcom.
He did, I thought you were going to say six-pack. He did have a six-pack. So let me ask you another question. Here's what I want to know about health stuff, because I thought about this. I guess you got diagnosed with, what do you call it, diabetes?
I got the diabetes.
Now, usually when people lose weight and then they get down there, there's less of a trace of it.
I haven't found that. A lot of people I had an old comedy manager. And she had said, I said something about, when I travel, I got to bring the meds. And she goes, well, you lost the weight, darling. Don't you just doesn't it go away?
Yeah.
I said, on a TV commercial, it does, if you want to buy their stuff.
Right.
I found, no, it's a mofo, dude. It's a mofo.
Still, I mean, I don't know how.
It's a mofo. I got 9 toes. You know that.
I know that.
Pound it.
I like it.
You know who else had 9 toes?
I do. John Gotti.
That's right. Senior.
John Gotti Senior, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I text you that one joke. I don't know if you'll ever use it. It's a hacky joke you can use. I made it up though. Somebody was talking.
It's got to be hacky. You made it up.
you know.
Here's a little joke I wrote. Might have heard it note for note. Don't worry. Be hacky. That's funny.
Here's what I was thinking though, because somebody was talking about AAA and how they get towed 4 times a year. So maybe you could use that. Like AAA, you get 4 toes a year.
I like that. It's like a TV joke, like a Letterman.
Yeah, it's going to
joke.
be like a place for them to laugh.
Yeah, I call my left foot AAA. Why? 4 toes.
4 toes a year. Oh.
Yeah.
So I mean, let me ask you this about.
I'm not gay. I don't know what you're getting.
So
at,
some
bro.
of the symptoms of diabetes. Did you have to pee a lot?
Yeah. When
you were 260.
It was like 2004. I was big and fat. I was bloated.
Yeah.
And I had to. That's probably it. I remember going to New York for like one of those deals where I look back in these notebooks and you do like 25 sets in 5 nights. You know what I mean? It said like Caroline's, Comedy Underground, all on the same date.
Yeah.
And it was in one of those weeks, and I was like, wow, I had really got to urinate way more often. And there's I don't want to overshare, but, if I could save a life, right? If I could save a life.
Yeah.
It burned. There was a tingle. There was a fresh tingle.
Back in the day when you were 260 and above.
That's what was the indication that my tinkle had a tingle.
Oh.
Say that 10 times fast.
My tinkle had a tingle. My tinkle had a tingle. Kris Kringle. My tinkle had a tingle. Kris
How much
Kringle.
wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
How much wood? Let's do it. 3, 2, 1.
How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Hold on. She sells seashells by the seashore. Okay.
Let's try it again. We'll do. Let's go medium speed and then we'll speed it up second round.
On
3,
which one?
2, woodchuck. 3, 2, 1.
How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? 3, 2, 1, go fast. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
Woodchuck. I have a friend that used to say woodchuck at the end.
Oh, wow.
Like woodchuck. Like Woody.
Oh.
Yeah. And he said I was saying it wrong.
Do you know this one? Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't fuzzy. Was he?
It's been a while. You don't know about Under the Cherry Tree, do you?
No.
We used to go to PBC, was for like the poor white kids in Long Island. All the rich kids went to summer camp.
Yeah.
Or a teen tour. They went to Europe. And we went to Miller's Lot and got drunk on 99-cent beer, 6-pack. And we used to go to PBC, Police Boys Club. It's basically like the Salvation Army for all the Irish and Italian kids in Long Island. And we used to go to PBC Roller Rink, PBC Beach, PBC Circus. Like they took us on, it was always the same 20 or 30 kids. And like on the way back from roller skating, now it's like Friday, like at 10 at night, and everyone let their hair down, and who's smoking joints or sneaking beer and Jack Daniels. And the whole bus used to sing, Under a Cherry Tree, da-na-na-na-na-na, that's where she showed it to me, da-na-na-na-na-na. It was hairy and dark, da-na-na-na-na, so I whipped out my hairy banana, stuck it up a slot. 9 months later in the hospital, went to see what the hell I got. Told them what we did under the cherry tree. Under the cherry tree. Under the cherry tree. And I always was annoyed because it didn't have an ending. You never knew if he really had a kid or not.
You never know what happened, yeah.
Yeah, like you just know that I think she got pregnant.
Wow.
It had a bad ending. And to this day, it was blue balls.
That's funny. I bet you.
And watch this. How did I even remember that? I haven't sang that since 1979.
Wow. Do you remember this one? So, suck my toe all the way to Mexico.
Not
While
at
you're
all.
there, brush your hair. Don't forget your underwear.
No. But I do know this. Watch this. So that's the physical part.
Yeah.
Now there's a whole medical part where they check you out naked. They have to see if you have a broken ankle, if you're coming in there injured. Yeah. It's nasty, bro. It's nasty. This one you got to get naked. And it's before you even get the job. Okay? It's nasty. That's all I could say. And it's like an office. Like you literally get fully naked and line up with like 30 guys. And everyone can see each other's junk. It's. I think we had to bend over to see if you had a hemorrhoid. Imagine being that cop.
And this is to get your shirt tailored?
Pound it. Dude, you got me. You got me.
Under the cherry tree.
But why did I bring that up? Oh, they wanted, watch this. They wanted, you probably don't know this. They wanted a blood sample, a urine sample, and a stool sample. So I gave him my underwear. Come on, bro. Don't worry. Be hacky. That's the greatest joke in the history of the world, dude.
I remember hearing that in an open mic from an 80-year-old comic.
Guess where I heard it?
Where?
And I give him credit all the time. And it fits because I was a cop. I had to get,
Who?
I got it from Tim Conway Jr.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he said it on the radio.
Oh, wow. I heard it from the great Scambini at an open mic in the Bay Area.
Do you know how many times I was on with Conway?
How many?
Twice.
Wow, he's funny.
Oh, watch this. When people ask me if I like living in California, they don't know that when we're out running around doing these sets and I'm delivering furniture or I'm at the workshop, you got to remember, I don't run home now for dinner. I'll stay at the workshop 7, 8, 9 at night. And guess who's my best friend?
Radio people.
Tim Conway.
He's
cool. Funny, dude.
That's cool.
There's a million inside jokes, and he's talking about. And I've even called in. He's like, if anyone's at LAX, let me know. I heard something went down. And it's John, the transit cop, cop guy.
Oh,
yeah. Like a few times I've called in.
That's cool.
Yeah, he's very funny.
What's he on? KFI 640 AM.
Yep, 6, and he's on from 6 to 10.
Wow.
And on Tuesday nights he has somebody with him. I can't remember who.
That's cool.
Yep.
So with the table, so I walk in. That's the thing about a woodworker. You never know what they're like. The normal kitchen table is gone, and you're like, I sold it. Because people want to.
I've sold my own kitchen table probably about 20, 25 times in my life.
Oh, was this one hard to let go? Or
This one I liked a lot, but it wound up...
How did they know it was for sale?
It's because I put...
Photos of it?
No, well, I put my things that I make that are ready to go, not custom. I always have about 20 or 30 items. I put them on Marketplace. So one girl said, I like the photos of the ones. Do you have anything? Do you have one more I could look at?
Yeah.
And I was sitting right here, and I just went... And she's...
She was like, I'll take it.
I'll take it. Can you make 2 matching benches?
Wow.
So we negotiated back and forth, and let me just tell you how this works. I don't even know her. I never met her. Some of them I'll look up their Facebook just to get an idea of who they are, where they're from, and I couldn't find anything.
And then they look up your IMDb, and they're like, who's this guy?
He's fat.
Yeah.
And I wind up closing her, over a 24-hour period, I wind up closing her for about $500 with a free delivery without ever meeting her.
Wow.
She trusted me that much.
Yeah.
So I held onto the table for another week and made the 2 matching benches.
Yeah. How far did you have to go?
It's a good question. I thought I went to Mount Washington. I had to take the 110 towards Pasadena. That's a really weird, skinny highway with no lights.
Yeah.
And I got off at Avenue 52, made like a left, and it was dark and on a hill, and I got out, and I usually take the stuff out so they're not seeing it upside down in the ugly side.
Yeah.
And I took it all out tonight, set it up under a nice street light. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I called her, and she says, I live 4 houses down, and I told you to come to the alley. Oh. So I said I could put it back in. She said, you know what? Let me see how heavy it is. And I said, first off, this is tonight. I said, first off, I go, this is the set, right? Because I deliver to a lot of people. But I was really saying, do you like it? Because she never saw it in real life.
Yeah.
I go, so this is the set. She looked at it, and she went like this. It looked shorter than it did in the photo. And I could tell she wasn't that happy.
Yeah.
And I said, she goes, what's the length? And this is the way I answered it. I go, it's the length that I told you it was. Like, it's 53.
Yeah.
Then she just said, well, in other words, I even show them that before there's any excuse, the photo sent had the 53 line on the tape measure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's no confusion.
Right. And she'd already paid you, and it hadn't
She
paid
already
you yet.
paid me. No, she paid me in advance. She paid me a week ago.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I sold it. You know what I mean? Who doesn't want a $500 sale? You know, and granted, I'm not going to have my
right. Just keep talking.
table.
Yeah.
But I said to her, I said, use it for a couple of months, couple of weeks. If you don't like it, you could trade it in for a custom, and I'll give you your credit. You know what I mean? If the next one is $700, you only have to pay $200.
Right.
You can give it back. And that was all. We carried it in, no tip. But guess what's better than no tip?
$500.
You're not putting it in the back. Like,
That's
in other
true.
words, I don't like the color. It feels itchy. Why is this?
Right.
You know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah.
So,
That's great.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, we got to end this podcast.
really? That was it?
I'm sorry. It says right error, and I don't know why it says that. So,
Oh, okay.
so only this backup
Yeah.
one is recorded.
Oof. Dude, I couldn't do it. I couldn't travel with all this stuff.
I know.
give you
I'm just
credit.
going to throw this damn card away. This card isn't, I don't know what it is. You guys, listen.
I thought you were going to throw your podcast away.
No. I want to.
Hey now.
Hey now. I want to say this. I want to say thank you to everybody that listens loyally. And if you want, throw in some money on the Venmo because I got to buy some more equipment that actually
There you
works.
go.
So please do that. Please. At Darren Carter Comic on Venmo and $ Darren Carter Comic on the Cash App. Anyways, you guys, thank you so much. And if you can donate, that's cool. If not, it's cool too. Give it some reviews on iTunes. That'll help out.
Can I give a shout out to the one person I know that listens?
Yes.
You know who it is?
Yes.
Adrian.
Yes.
Yo,
Yo,
Adrian.
Adrian.
Congratulations on that first video. Good job.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. I'm sorry we had to end the show like this, but what are you going to do? We'll be back soon, and I will have new equipment. Thank you so much. Bye.
Everybody listen to Darren Carter. We all know he's the party starter. So if you want to listen to a podcast for free, then listen to The Pocket Party.